Okay. It's 6:07 on September 16, 2013. The Water Commissioners meeting. Commissioner Dalzell and Commissioner Toomey are present. Commissioner Ricker may or may not show up in the next half hour or so. We have our superintendent, our business manager, Jamie Snow, and Larry. And first order we have is accept minutes for the meetings. The September 10th meeting, do we have any comments on that still?
Page 3, the second paragraph, just Robert Murray's name is misspelled as Murray instead of Murray.
Okay. On the first page, I see do you recall whether or not we had some comments about somewhere in Bradford Street as far as the repair over there?
It was mentioned.
It was mentioned, I don't remember, but. So do we have a second repair thing we have to take care of?
I have to go.
Okay, so we have a problem with 133. So do we have one or two? So can you check into that, John?
All right.
Also, on the last sentence on that first page, it says, per Tim, to be sure the superintendent knows the protocol. Roy Ricker read the September 10th, 2013 memo from Deb Egan as the town administrator regarding road opening permits. So we should include that as an attachment to this minutes.
Okay, so that was the yes, I don't have a copy of that memo.
Oh, you don't?
I think Debbie gave it to you, Tim.
Yeah.
That's I called you last week on that.
Okay, so
So
we need to get
you
a,
need to get a copy of it.
all right. Did you get a copy of that still? You must have it in your box and stuff. Okay, so could you remind me to do that?
Okay.
Through John. Okay, they have a motion to accept those minutes.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then we had a meeting last night, and did you go through the minutes of that meeting?
Yes,
Sue?
I did.
Any problems?
I have no problem.
John, do you have any problems? Okay. We have a motion to accept those minutes.
So moved.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Second order is to sign purchase orders. A bill from Thetford and Martin for paint and aluminum twist pole. What's that?
For roller extension.
Oh, okay. Staples, miscellaneous supplies, huh? Okay, third order of business is secondary operator issue, immediate action if necessary. Have you figured out who would be a good fit here for our other secondary operator position with the primary operator and
Yep, we discussed Matt's a little bit.
Matt? Is he available?
He is available. I talked to town hall about doing references. Of course, that would have to be done. But,
Okay. You gonna do it, you gonna call up some references?
well, I guess according to their email, they usually do those.
They prefer the water department doesn't do it.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't say that in the email, but
There's a
I was told
slew
that.
of questions that they have put together in the past, so maybe you could, get the questions that they want you to ask, some of the references. And then, maybe you can, can you, get the references together so Roy, Stu, and me can look at them, maybe we'll make some calls too.
okay.
So I like a motion from the board. I think we gotta start off with, getting Matt in the loop to hire him for the next meeting. We'll get an offer letter out by a vote for the next meeting, but I think we gotta select the best candidate, which we already interviewed him. I forget, what was the date on that, John, you remember? That we interviewed, I think it was sometime in, maybe May. So we already interviewed, let's move on. We
Yes.
already interviewed him.
Right.
Everybody on the board got to meet him. And then, I think that we ought to proceed in that direction, so we need to check his references,
Okay.
okay? And then we'll talk about getting an offer letter out for a dollar amount. I think I saw a couple of things where you told me, I think this week, it's making a certain dollar amount. We're gonna try to get up to that with what we're allowed to do. There's a rate that they've already approved for the secondary operator.
Right. That's,
Is that,
You've been making a little less here than he would on his present job, but he'd like to come in.
yeah, I think he'll be a good mix with him. Okay,
Can you do that this week, John? Check with John?
yeah.
this is a matter we gotta, address. We have Mr. Hovey working as a seasonal laborer. What are our plans with him at this point?
Right now, there's, the discussions are going on, but, the season time frame runs from June, July to mid-September. So,
Does he know that?
I think he does, yes.
Okay. You need to make sure he's aware.
Right.
that he's, I think we've talked about trying to bring him on more of as a permanent guy, but we don't have a position for him open right now, so we won't be able to do that until the upcoming budget season to be, approved at a town meeting next spring. So we have him. I don't know how much money do we have. Do we have any money left in his budget, Laura?
So we budgeted, July, August, September, and then we budgeted for the spring. So, yes, there is money in his line.
All right, so there's money to cover from like June and July next year?
Right,
Okay.
in the budget.
Since he came on late, is there any chance we could keep him for a few more weeks if we need him?
No, he started before July 1st.
Okay.
He came on late in June, remember he was away, but
Yeah.
he started right after.
All right, so he exhausted the budget from this.
Right,
Okay. So you need to address that, John, I guess. I don't want him to get, Okay.
Yep.
Lauren?
Yeah, just going back to Matt, I just want to make a clarification. Is he a temporary hire or a permanent one?
He'll be permanent.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I ask one more question?
Sure, Jane.
What is the time frame if everything is successful that he will begin? Is there a time frame?
It'll be our next meeting that hopefully we'll have all the reference checks. He passed the scrutiny of core evaluation,
Right.
and so we're good to go. He's got his licenses.
Right.
We're happy with his licenses that he does have. He seems like a upstanding young man. I think it'd be great to have him on.
Oh, I do too. No, I'm
Yeah.
just wondering the time frame.
Yeah, so I think next meeting would be the time we make him an offer, if he passes the
Criteria.
reference checks. And hopefully it would be sooner rather than later, but it would probably be 2 weeks after that.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
The other employee we should talk about is the administrative assistant. So did the offer letter go out to him?
I'm gonna send it out to let him know.
Okay, and then have you talked to him?
I have talked to him on the phone.
Yeah. And he can start working Monday?
He can start as early as the 23rd.
That's not Monday, that's, what is that?
It's Monday.
Next Monday.
Okay. So he'd start his day off with getting indoctrinating downtown, right?
Usually, yes.
So that goes hand in hand with Maureen, so how do we handle Maureen? How do you want to handle Maureen?
To be honest, I don't know if we want to. These are fulfilling work or busy times or I'm not sure.
Well, do you need her?
Do you think that we would need her?
well, she's been here for 3 years, John. She does, do a lot of clerical tasks for us.
Okay, well. Have you
Yes.
scheduled a staff meeting yet?
No.
Okay.
But,
Maybe,
I'll have a discussion.
yeah. Maybe we should have a staff meeting
Okay.
this week and try to figure out what your staff needs are to be a meeting, and I'll be there. We'll talk about some of the things we talked about last night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're gonna come up with, you gotta have it in your mind how you wanna handle her, or do you need her for additional time? And is there any money in the budget that would allow us to keep her on over and above our new hire, okay?
Yeah.
So when do you wanna schedule a staff meeting? What's good time for these guys?
I hate to say, first thing in the morning, but it's usually when they're here or noontime, my break.
Is everybody here at 7 AM,
Lunch.
starting off the day?
Yes.
Okay.
Or we could do it towards, maybe the back end picking up around 2:30 or so.
Well, how much time do you think you need for your staff meeting?
Like half an hour.
Well, why don't you pick a day and get back to me, okay?
Alright.
Sorry about that.
Thought that was the entertainment portion.
Yeah, I'm about to get a new phone. I'm gonna have to change your tune. I also had pavement protocol on emergency water breaks responses. We discussed our problems with doing pavement jobs at last meeting, and I just wanted to bring it up again. I don't know if we should be doing the paving. I don't think the highway department doesn't want to do our paving either, so. You know, what does the highway department do if they have to break open a street to fix a drain or something like that? Do they don't have to file for a road opening permit.
That I don't know.
Yeah. You know anything about that
The
stuff?
way I see it, gentlemen, if we cut the pavement, it's our responsibility to have it repaired satisfactory to highway surveyors' satisfaction. We broke it, we fix it. I don't think it's the highway department's responsibility to follow us around and fix the water department's patches.
Well, I see your point, but I would like to have more, I don't want this stuff to crop up 1 and 2 years after the fact. I want this thing to be done right off the bat. I want them more involved. When you do the paving, make sure that they have plenty of notice so they can get right in and then make sure that it's to their satisfaction when we do it. That way we won't have to do it again a year later. So I'm not saying I'm an expert at paving, but these paving contractors seem to be pretty astute on the matter. So they've got to know that they got to file for these the paving permits if necessary. And they're going to be really, you got to make sure, John, that they're right in the loop there for being responsible, more so than we are, to make sure that the paving is done properly.
Okay.
if they need bonds or whatever like that. I don't know what's involved, but you gotta make
Yeah.
sure that they meet all those specs.
Yeah.
Because I don't recall at the last meeting, he was bringing up another incident that we had to fix. So I don't know if that's even in the process of getting into the loop to get it redone.
Yeah,
Do you know anything about that?
no. But, it's referring to
It's referring to down Cross Street, excuse me, Bradford Summer.
Brad and Summer,
He stated that
it was low.
settled an inch and a half.
What happened with your-
Things are bound to settle sometimes, like these manhole covers going up on 33 and so forth. Bound to happen, but it's our duty. You pave it, you know, if quite certain it'll settle, so you get a temporary patch on there. And then you go back and finish it properly,
Right.
if that's the case.
Yeah, but his point was that it wasn't finished, this one on 133 wasn't finished properly, because he saw pack material out there, not hydraulic fill.
Yeah, that's kind of an unusual situation.
I understand that, John, but
Flowable fill.
I know, but the force of that water break picked the whole section of that road up because the tanks right there.
yeah,
So it was very powerful. I was looking at some of the paperwork and it was a 30 by 30 patch. When you use flowable fill, it does not set up instantly. It stays wet. It's mud. So you have to plate it until it sets up and then you can go back and pave it. 30-foot plates, and there's no way you can do, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wish you were here at the last meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, can you put a memo together?
Yeah, I'll talk to
Because-
Ron about it.
No, don't talk to him, just put a memo together. And then let's get a memo over there,
Yeah.
okay?
Only way you could do that is do it in sections, and you're out there for a week.
But, well, see,
Yeah.
the length of it is 30 feet.
Yeah.
So if you need a 30-foot plate to span that gap.
I know, you've got a good point. You've got a good
And
point. Put
this-
it on a memo.
I don't
And
know.
let's get it over to him and see what he says, because if you don't think flowable fill's a solution out there, because you don't have 30-foot plates, then let's
Yeah.
get,
You know, the main part of it
there's
is a trench on
Yeah.
one side of the
so there's a reason why you use
Yeah.
pack material, not
Yes.
flowable fill.
right, well,
Right.
not only that, but it's not available at that time of the morning, 3 a.m. And it's a major highway, so you have to fill it into,
Well, what you're saying, I believe you, what you're saying is if you use flowable fill, you'd have that road blocked off for
Should take a couple of days.
a couple of
anyway.
days,
right,
okay?
right,
So can you put your point down in a memo, and let's just go from there,
all right.
all right? I see what your point is, and I agree with you. So, but I don't know,
I
you
mean,
know,
I'm not,
I don't know if there's a secondary protocol for a situation where they don't make plates that big, or, you know, I don't know. Maybe,
if they did, we wouldn't be able to lift them.
because we got a price from Brock's, and they're gonna come out there, they're gonna have 30-foot plates? Or they're gonna close the road down with the specs that the town's requiring them to have flowable fill
Yeah,
out there in that patch area that's 30 by 30 foot in size, and then they don't have, maybe they got 30-foot plates.
yeah. Or you'd have to cut it up into sections where you could use a more standard size plate.
Yeah, I don't know, I wanna tell them how to do it too.
I don't either, it's, you
Yeah.
know, it's the highway surveyor's
They had
call,
they had to,
and I'm not denying.
they had to work it
I'm not
out with the
denying.
highway survey.
If, you know, if he has, I'm sure he has
But he brought in, his
better
main point,
solutions that
his
I-
main point last meeting was that you guys didn't use flowable fill. And then there was a memo put together about the procedure for a street opening. The application of flowable fill to repatch the
Right.
the thing. So,
You know, generally, it's not a big
yeah,
excavation.
it's like a, you know, a water service or whatever, that's not a problem.
Right,
But something this big was, it was a problem,
right.
okay? Need to document that.
I can understand you putting a patch down, Bradford in the summer, and it's settled an inch and a half, I can understand that. What I'm getting at, it should be cut out and done again now that it has settled. When was that,
Right.
a year ago,
I don't know the exact date.
roughly? So it's heading year to settle, so if you just put a thin patch on, for a few months, then go over and do it right.
Was that a temporary patch over there? Bradford and Son?
I don't think it was temporary, but, I mean,
Was the street opening permit applied for over
no.
there? Okay. So we need to do. We need to make it more formal.
Yeah, yeah, it's new
So there's more
protocol,
people,
and,
yeah.
you know, it's, his roads and his call.
Okay, anything new on Mr. and Mrs. Petrillo? I guess, are they still upset?
I haven't spoken to him.
Can you speak to them before the next meeting and just make sure that they're real happy with the progress of finding out something about this dumpster thing?
Okay.
And we have some abatements, Carol Powers. Which one is this? Can you refresh my memory? Is this something we discussed before?
Yes.
Can you refresh my memory, John?
She had a spike for a couple of days.
Oh, a couple of days spike, okay.
Didn't seem to be any weeks that we could find.
Okay. What do you recommend?
Well, at this point, I mean, in some of these we've been abating to average usage in the past. I don't know if that's the pleasure of the board, but I'd say, you know, in the first instance, you could do that, but if it recurs, I would, suggest having a meter tested.
Do they want us to test the meter?
I don't think that request was made.
No.
If there's no leak, then you're talking about an inadvertent leak that caused harm to one of our customers. So, are we gonna err on that this is an inadvertent leak, even though it was something that lasted 2 days? Or are we going to think it was something that was running for 2 days and shut off?
It's hard to say without.
How could it happen? If it was a leak and we told them they had a leak and they repaired it like we've been doing and giving people abatements, why would we go and give him an abatement for leaving the water on? Because that's what I see in the current. I mean, the other board members might not feel that way, but to me, it looks like they left the water on for 2 days. And they couldn't explain why they had a thing, but they don't want their bill being that high, so I don't. What is your feeling, Stu?
Did you look into this, John?
I didn't actually do the data log and testing, but there's been correspondence which you got.
What's your recommendation?
Well, I mean, once again, I guess the final proof is a meter test. I mean, if the meter proves to be 100% functional,
What's a meter test cost?
within parameters, the policy we've used in the past was, I think the meter test now is $100.
It's over $100 now, John.
Is it over?
Yeah.
If the meter comes back outside of accepted parameters, which is 2% plus or minus,
Yeah.
then the homeowner would pay for the meter test and pay the water bill. If it exceeds 2% plus or minus, then we would figure in the percentage of error and replace the meter and pay for the test.
Well, I mean, I'm not interested. I think that if they came in here before us and they said that they had a leak and then they repaired it, and then as soon as they found out they had a leak, they'd say, geez, that stuff happens, let's just do it. But they didn't say they had a leak, they just had a spike.
Right.
Okay, so it might have been the water was running in the toilet or whatever, it was just running. I don't think we should give, my feeling is we shouldn't give them an abatement, so I'm gonna go against it, and if Stewie goes for it tonight, and says go for it, then it still isn't gonna pass, because we don't have a quorum, that kind of a vote. So let's move on, let's just say we're rejecting at this point. You have an objection to that stuff?
We need a full board for abatement. If we get as I've said, we get a recommendation from John. We don't go forward with this discussion, then we take a vote.
Okay. We discussed this last week, too, so we don't have a full board, so you want to table this?
These abatements should be tabled until we have a full board.
Okay.
That's my
I agree with that. So let's table the abatements.
thought.
Okay. Review fall schedule. So what do we have for the fall schedule that we should be discussing tonight, John? What about the town common stuff? What's going on with that? Stu, you went to a meeting last night.
So it's all fine with the selectmen. Is this all on schedule for Thursday morning, John?
Yeah, well, look, right now, we're just trying to steer up the ground boxes.
Well, don't let that hold up the job.
Some of the
You know, get the spigots in and put ground boxes in if they come in a week late or something, so they have water. Do you have the material, the pipe and the spigots and fittings?
I have some of the pipe. And we do have some of the fittings, but there's a couple of T-type fittings we still need to get.
Well,
That shouldn't be a problem.
Pick them up right next to it.
Yeah.
Now, where are you planning to hook in? Are you planning to hook into the bubble by the backstop or the
Up by the
spigot
gazebo,
up by the gazebo?
up by the gazebo, I would say, is where the original small pit is, where the service comes out.
Okay. Can the ditch witch, is that available for Thursday morning?
Yeah, we said that we can have it, within 24 hours.
All right. So you'll go over in the truck with your little trailer and pick it up?
Yeah, I guess it'll fit in this one.
Or that trailer?
Usually, sometimes the rental companies deliver machine.
Where is it?
I think it's much easier, much cleaner. Go and pick it. Yeah, over the traffic, just beyond traffic circle,
Oh, yeah.
like Kelly rental. So somebody do that the first thing Thursday morning, and the job will roll.
We'll get started on
Okay,
Those trees are thirsty.
it.
yeah. Now, is that gonna be metered water, so we know that's leaking? I know that we're not billing them, but is it metered, so we read the meter and see if it's a leaking water?
I'd have to check the size of the pit, the original riser, and see if we can get one.
Well, isn't there a meter to that water fountain and the water on that department anyway, or is there not?
Rob told me there was, but I have to go out and look at it.
Where's that bubble hooked into? Behind the backstop?
I think it goes down and taps the main to the curb stop there.
Who turns that thing on and off every year?
We do.
Go down with the compressor, blow the line over. For the, say before November 1st.
Well, I mean, we don't wanna have a big leak or a leak, and that's,
Right.
so I don't know how we handle that, so.
Just like you gentlemen go over to the cemetery and blow that up for them.
Right.
That's on the meter though, isn't it?
Yes.
So we know if there's a leak, right?
Yes.
All right, so one of the things that are,
Even if you put the, I don't like the idea of a post, but the post on the plan, even if you put the
I got a
span on.
question for you, Tim.
yellow.
If you have only the partial parts and the pipes on hands, don't you need a purchase order for the remaining parts and pipes and a purchase order for the ditch witch and all that stuff approved beforehand?
We'll get to that.
What do you mean you'll get to that?
Well, before the meeting's over, we'll get a list from John here. We'll approve it. It's $40,000
You-
in trees here, they need.
But don't you need a purchase order for that and approval and, I don't know what budget it's coming out of?
The water department's picking up the tab.
So it's coming, the water department is paying for the material,
It's the least we can do for the community.
well,
That's how I feel about it.
What budget would you be taking that out of, Laura?
We're all in this together, Larry,
I realize that,
to help work it out
it was
the town.
kind of unclear last night, who was doing what. It kind of sounded like the town common committee was going to be paying for the stuff. And the way that Dave Peterson talked about it, recognizing the water department's financial scrutiny, it sounded like it was coming from the town common project where they had money available.
We got a surplus of money over there?
They do have funds available since they came in under budget for stuff.
However, to spend them surplus money, it would have to go to town meeting. And this water department agreed, I hate to sound like a broken record, a year and a half ago, to help Tacoma out. We are a community, the other departments help one another. That's all I have to say.
Okay, so
All the way these.
you gotta figure it out, John, where the money's coming from. Is it in an operational budget that, for maintenance or whatever, or not maintenance, but it's an operational, you buy gate valves and stuff like that to replenish your
Right.
inventory and stuff like that. There's money there. This will be town-owned stuff anyway, like the water department equipment. So what does it come out of? And then the rental of the ditch witch, that comes out of a budget. So you gotta, make sure that that's all copacetic, okay? Because you're in charge of procurement. So is this outfit up at the Circle, they got a good rate on that ditch witch?
Yes, I believe you got the rate.
Yeah,
Laura, the other day.
it's $300, it's $297, Tim, for the day.
Yeah.
I called another guy, they're not easily found, that machine.
Okay,
I don't, it's,
okay.
I don't know who else
So
to call.
you're making sure that, so we know, what kind of money we need and what budget is coming out of. So the question really Larry has is, if it's being paid by us, why isn't there a PO here on the table, so? And then you have if you're gonna do it, was it Thursday?
Yes.
That's a lot of work to do, to get that stuff all lined up for Thursday, because you're gonna have to spend a good part of tomorrow, I guess, I would say, but they're getting the stuff that you don't have.
We've been talking about it for months.
So what do you need to get, and where are you gonna get it?
Well, I called the State Line Supply, and they seem to have irrigation type equipment, because, the average waterworks place doesn't stock some of that stuff. The boxes.
So I guess
The rises.
it's gotta be bought tomorrow, and you need to, have the POs here for review tomorrow, so we can get the thing going. So, and then the guy's gotta be picking up something on Thursday morning at 7, right?
Yep.
They're gonna leave here at 7. They're gonna take them 5 minutes to get down to the Circle. They're gonna pick up something, and they're gonna bring it to the Common.
John, no matter how hard you try to forget, you're bound to forget something, but tomorrow, can you go over this and
Yep.
have your material already?
Because what could happen is that you're out there for 3 days for really a one-day job.
Yeah.
And you get the ditch witch tied up for 3 days.
No, a ditch witch was tied up for a day. You zip right around there, it's all sand. Then the ditch witch goes back. You can backfill by hand, easy.
Yeah, but if you don't have enough pipe to put in the holes, Stu, then the hole's open, and then you gotta put a fence around it or
If they
something.
run
so,
short, you run to Ipswich,
Yeah.
3 miles from here. Pick up some pipe, get it in the ground, you can fill everything in but where the spigots are.
All right.
I've been
I
playing
don't
in the
wanna-
dirt for 52 years. I think something rubbed off on me.
I knew that was coming.
Just another question, does that irrigation pipe, that's not flexible, that's the 10 or 20 foot sections?
No, it comes in 300-foot rolls or 100-foot
Oh,
rolls.
okay, so it's a flexible pipe.
It's black quality.
Yeah,
pipe.
The
okay.
blue stuff.
And
The
does
blue
that
stuff.
go between the tree line and the curb? Or
No, inside the trees, Larry.
inside the trees?
There's a reason for that.
Okay,
Outside, on the Main Street side, you have the water line, water main, pretty close under where the old trees were.
Yeah.
And where's the gas line?
It's a little bit closer to the curb.
my point was when I was out there when they were putting the trees in, about half the holes that they dug for the trees, they encountered a lot of the root system from the old trees.
Like, those roots go like the devil.
And I don't know how easy that ditch switch is and going through that.
Maybe further in.
But
Thank you. Sure. There's a gazebo, one spigot's in here behind the gazebo. Water bubble somewhere down here.
It's a backstop there.
all right, this is where the lines are, right? You're going,
What's going on out there?
There's a fountain over here.
This, what's in yellow is spigots, it
Oh.
says.
Yes, spigots, I believe there's 6.
okay, so the pipe that you're putting in is that line?
See this pencil line?
Yes.
Lake Department would like to have us cut in like that because I believe they'll have a workbox in here
Right,
somewhere.
but other than that, this is the line for the water, same as the trees, right?
Yeah, but we'll have to go just inside them,
Okay.
or outside.
Okay.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, so that's under control. Anything else we should talk about that's um, relevant for the next week? Are we gonna have a meeting the following week?
Next week,
Yeah.
yes, Penitex coming in next Tuesday night.
Okay.
What time would you like them?
First thing, if that would work, I guess.
Okay. I have something to say under old business, if I may.
Yeah.
I've had several complaints about the hydrants. One up Kathleen Circle cannot be seen.
Kathleen Circle.
At 1200 Havel Street.
Can't be seen. What do you mean it can't be seen?
From the brush. Vegetation growing up around it. And I've had a complaint, a picture of it last night.
Was there a picture of it at the meeting last night?
No, another one. What's another one? You come out of Cross Street onto Central, in Ford Town, there's a hydrant there. And the pipe for a marker bent over. And you can see about a third of that hydrant.
What do you mean, is it under dirt?
No, vegetation.
Oh,
They need to
okay.
be trimmed.
So, John, are you running around checking hydrants to make sure that they're all properly cut?
Not all of them, no. I mean, he splits his time up between mowing and weed whack.
These hydrants are, it's imperative, John, that they're trimmed.
Is he doing more mowing than weed whacking?
Well, I mean, you know, there's a lot of area to mow.
Fireman's an emergency or something, he or she doesn't need poison ivy or whatever. And some of these vines growing up with thorns in them. Can you take care of some of these tomorrow?
Can you go take a picture of that? We'd like to see that in the next meeting.
What's that?
Pictures of these hydrants that are, needed some attention, so. And then, you know, this is 3 things that he's getting phone calls on. I just wanna make sure that we don't have other ones in the town, so.
This is a serious problem, John. Middle of the night, the firemen are trying to find a hydrant or something.
So,
And
right
that's,
off the bat, you gotta get Jerry over there, now that you know, right? Okay. So there was 2 that, 2 complaints or what? Or was it 3?
I've had several complaints, but this one just came to me today about Kathleen Circle.
Okay.
And I had a complaint last night about when you come out of Cross Street onto Central Street, heading toward town. Short distance from your house, Larry. You know the marker pipes for the hydrants, they find them in the snow, bent way over like that. It's growing up, the vegetation growing up around it.
Okay. That can be corrected. Because we're losing him in the next couple of, if not now, we gotta get him going that thing, right?
Yeah.
What's his schedule like? What's he doing?
Well, he was doing some painting today. And,
What about the Eagle Scout? He was gonna do some painting. Did he do any painting?
you know,
So I've contacted him and he's still waiting for approval from the council. So he did not get to this project this summer like he was going to.
That takes quite a while sometimes.
So we're hoping, you know, that he still will get to that.
Okay.
My grandson's going through that, you know, they wanna do this project, but they have to wait for the approval from the council. Takes time.
Okay. All right.
Review board, I think you call it.
Okay, so anything else on the schedule here that,
The Dexter Drive, John, that's high on the list.
Yeah.
Because they need that for town meeting approval.
Yes.
John, if it's a choice of sending the young man over the mower, choice of doing a field or the hydrants, have him trim the hydrants, get them all done, the field's secondary.
Okay.
it sounds to me like, well, how does he normally do it? Does he go around and check all the hydrants? Does he have a list of hydrants and just hits them on Central Street and Main Street? Just knocks them off with a weed whacker?
Yeah, I mean, if you go by one and it looks overgrown, then you get a weed whack.
How many hydrants do we have?
300 and somewhat, is it?
65.
365?
Right.
365 hydrants.
Right.
One
Okay.
for every day of the year.
So how long does it take them to do all the hydrants?
I don't know cumulatively, but I can't imagine it taking much more than 10 or 15 minutes to.
And that's stretching it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, if you, I think what you should do is put a priority on that right now.
Yeah.
Make sure they're done before he leaves, okay?
The one down at the head of Cross Street, I saw a picture of that last night.
Okay. What's this other thing too that you're bringing up, Laura?
So number 2 is we have received an email from
Dexter
our
Drive.
town plant, yeah. And she's getting ready to have an article and was looking for the different departments. And we know there's a little bit of work there, John, is that correct?
Small amount of work, yes.
So we need to put that though high on the list because I think next week is the last week for town meeting articles.
Yeah.
I put that in your packet.
Yeah.
So we have, we need a couple of hours to do that.
I think the 30th is the last
Well, I
day.
mean, we just inspected.
Yeah, but we have to sign off.
Right.
We have to get the contractor, I don't know, we have some work to do on Dexter Drive. that I-
Very, very small. It's one curb box has to be raised and one that page over.
Okay.
What
So
day
that-
goes?
That's,
What's that, about an hour and a half of work? So,
yeah, I mean, it's not.
what does that have to involve a town article? I don't-
So we sign off every,
Okay.
that before the road is accepted, that they met
Okay,
the water
so-
departments.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to accept that road, but we have to make sure that everything meets our specs.
Right.
Which
The
is
rest of
outside,
it's- The rest of it's all inspected.
So, can you
The
just,
gate boxes. the
that sounds like,
hydrants,
that sounds like 2 hours at the most, so just, can you get it done?
Well, it's not a tenant road yet. I mean, it's technically supposed to be done by the contractor, so.
Oh, so,
Can
okay.
you,
But I think it's easy enough, the one in the grass is on a slide, it might be able to just pry it up and that would be fine.
can you insist the contractor gets it done if he wants his road accepted?
Yes.
Anything else that might be a big priority?
Just a quick, to answer Larry's concerns on the water line on the common. You notice on that plan, that water line's like going between the trees, but common sense tells me it's going one side or the other. The trees have been moved, so that's probably why it shows that water line between the trees. You notice a line right there.
Right, but I mean, if they're going very near the trees, there's just roots there, and just,
You'd be aware.
I just don't know to what extent the ditch witch can handle,
Yeah.
tree roots and stuff like that. I mean, I don't particularly care, because, that's who's ever doing the job and who's ever responsible for it, but I don't think it's gonna be a walk in the park, so to speak.
Yeah, the hardest part of some of these things, thinking about it. Once you dig in, you go.
Okay, so the schedule here, we have articles here, the 2000, that's special
300 foot
Yeah, but if you have a
town
small
meeting
piece-
articles, are the
Yeah.
last
if you have a
page
small
on
piece of
the
paper,
Yes.
spring schedule
Can you give me one?
update. So we have,
Like that, sure, right.
do we have these articles, we have articles that we have planned for this fall meeting somewhere? We have a list of that already.
And I think, we do not have any articles for town meeting that I know of.
I know last week Stu had alluded to as far as the privatization of the water department, getting approval of the town. I don't know whether you're gonna submit an article this meeting or not.
Right. The research has just begun. See how you could do that. It should have period. Yeah.
I didn't think so, but I just brought it up just to get a clarification. You know, I think might be premature, but I don't know for sure. I don't know what your thinking is on it. I know you're still researching it, but I don't know, once Pennachuck is through, what your next step is and stuff like that, but again, I'm just trying to get an idea of, you know, each department's
Yeah.
warrants and stuff like that, so I just didn't know whether you were planning to do something on that or not.
We have, Jonathan Pennachuck next Tuesday, what's that, the 24th?
24th.
There's no time.
I don't know. Do you think we could put together an article? I know we don't have any dollar amount, but the problem we have not to exceed, if you could say not to exceed the existing budget or something. I don't know. We'd have to talk to Debbie.
You're talking about putting something out for bids and getting it in and advertising it. It's just,
Yeah, but I mean, we need permission from town meeting.
right.
Do they want to go this route or not to move forward?
Well, you would want to have the figures forward that would show that it's a benefit, but how would you do that before, next week?
How do you get accurate figures without going out?
Well,
for
this
proposals? You
gentleman,
can't.
this gentleman last week said he could work something up, but then he wouldn't have anything that you could rely on. So-
Exactly.
And then Pennachuck's gonna say the same thing, we could work some numbers up for you. We still, he's still researching municipalities that have our system to see what their budget is, and whether or not, we got some research to do here still. I can't see that happening this fall, you know. I can see research being done over the winter time that we may bring it forward on a spring meeting. And
I just wonder if we could get something at town meeting. As long as we weren't going over the as I just said, going
Yeah.
over the existing budget. See how, if the voters approve moving forward.
well, then let's just take a look at that next meeting, I guess, and try to figure out, we could throw something together at the next meeting if you felt that you could do that, so.
One shot, pass it to Larry and Jamie. Only that's 1 inch, probably be using 3/4 down there.
That's not black poly, what is that?
That's the blue,
That's
blue water line they use nowadays.
Is it?
Thanks, John. Thank you.
Let me see that.
The
So
black
this,
stuff's going by the wayside.
Oh, it has? When did they get rid of that?
What's that?
The black poly?
Well,
It's been around for what, 3-4 years now?
yeah, irrigation pipe is usually low pressure pipe.
This is high pressure?
It's for water services.
You can
So
still,
You would have to put another appurtenance into an enclosure as a pressure reducer because most irrigation pipe is rated 100 psi or less.
So, yeah, the black stuff is rated for 100 PSI, right?
And it's
What's this
also,
rated for?
well, it's also different internal and external diameters because of the thickness.
copper tubing size.
So you have to use, plastic bayonet fittings and hose clamps to put them together.
CTS means copper tubing size. The black stuff, you have to be careful, like the 100 PSI is, may not fit the copper tubing where 200, they have like 100, 160, 200 to take that much, really to take that much pressure.
Yeah.
But you have to be sure you get the CTS copper tubing size, work with the fittings. Otherwise, they call it oddballs, like if you were hooking up a well or something at home.
What's that rated for?
200.
200?
This one's tough too.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so, I guess, we've done here tonight, or?
Can I just ask for clarification? I was asked by Chairman of the FinCon, our next meeting is October 1st, to present anything that our departments are going to be putting on the warrant. So the water department is not putting any articles on, is that correct?
Doesn't appear to be that
Okay.
this time. Do you have any articles, John? that
Because I
you-
thought Laura had a couple rough drafts, but, you know,
We-
that could have changed.
You decided not to do
Okay,
those.
good enough, okay. And is there?
What was the ones we were just talking
So it
about?
was staffing issues.
Yeah,
We're still waiting for the unions to negotiate, which I believe is a meeting at the 16th,
yeah.
19th. So we have $5,000. I don't know if that's gonna be enough until I know what those numbers are. You're gonna offer the gentleman more money than we have in the budget. So we need to, you know, those are potential articles, but I don't know until you tell me. Right now, I don't have any solid numbers.
Right, for like union negotiations.
I would like to talk to Debbie tomorrow. Then we can answer Jamie's question.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And is there an update on the negotiations to sign the contract or whatever the correct verbiage is with the gas pricing for the water department vehicles?
No?
No.
Have you worked on that?
Nope. It's, I'm pretty busy there.
Okay, so,
Okay.
It looks like it's gonna get a lot busier.
Okay, those were my two questions, thank you.
Can you scratch that down and get some quotes if you will?
well, how did we leave it last time? Did we ask you to go see Debbie to figure out how to procure gas pricing, or do we want Laura to go and make calls, or how did you want to do that, John?
I suppose I should ask Debbie what the proper protocol is,
I don't
but soliciting,
Well,
something, I don't know if there's any difference in that type of thing, I don't know.
well, you need to figure that out, how did the power company do it, because Mary was talking about it, right? And then the police already did it, right? So maybe take a page out of their book or something, get the thing going. What about this truck that we
Well, unless
gonna get rid of? Well, we got a lot of things that we talked about in the past. What's wrong with the truck? Why is that still here?
There's nothing wrong with it,
Get any interested parties?
I know some people that are interested.
Why is it still here?
Well, we did send a memo over, right, Laura?
You sent a memo over, yes.
Yes. Disposal of
Yeah.
public property.
Is it being handled right now? Or is it gonna be out there,
Nope,
Need to go before the snow.
Pull the fire into that too.
and we also have the other piece of metal there. Can you make sure you update us on the next meeting? That's next week, so that'll be on the agenda. Update on the disposal of property.
Okay.
Okay?
Need purchase order tonight for that ditch witch.
You have the pricing for that?
Borrowed it.
We had it on the quote sheet.
Yeah.
$299 or $300.
I think the next question, John, is who's gonna pay for it, because we don't have an account there yet. So that, we need to discuss that.
All right, let's discuss it.
Well, I wasn't gonna use my credit card. Okay, I draw the line at that.
I need a market basket.
Couldn't use your mind.
So I think that was kind of a stall with the Taylor rental, is we do not have an account. We can check with her tomorrow and see if she'll bill
Set
us.
one up.
The young lady used to live in Raleigh.
They won't deal with a PO?
In the past, we've always paid and then we were reimbursed. And I don't have enough money in the petty cash for this.
They won't take a purchase order?
I could check with her again tomorrow. I didn't know where we were going with this today.
Yeah, so sometimes you can set up the account pretty quickly. I don't know if the town's ever used them before, if they're on the vendor list.
Do you think you could take a half hour out of your day? I know how busy you are. You just take a ride up there and say, what's...
Sure, I mean, yeah, I didn't know what,
Okay.
you know, if we were
Well,
waiting
this
for,
obviously is gonna take off. There is
so
that.
we were waiting for Dig Safe and, you know, and getting organized.
Is that dig safe already?
Yeah.
Okay.
and call them.
Did you call the water department?
Huh?
So we're ready to go on Thursday? We can,
Okay, so that sounds like a plan, right? Anything else?
No, but we need to sign, can we sign the purchase order now is what I'm asking? For the ditch witch.
Well, do we have the company's name, and we have the thing all lined up and everything's set in concrete?
Kelly Rental.
All right.
Kevin comes in.
John, he's asked a question. Can we sign up, get a PO right now?
want me to go get one?
If you would.
Would you get two, please, Laura? Yeah. Need one for state supply, for a few fittings.
I didn't know where the, I'll do the Taylor one.
Excuse me for 1 minute, I gotta go to the bathroom.
State supply and usage.
Excuse me?
State supply and usage.
Kelly Rental, Newberry.
Yeah, she's.
Maybe a few bucks more than the 300 because the insurance binder on there gets wrecked or something. The town's not liable. It'll be $20.
Yeah.
It's worth it. I always get it. I rent something. And if it blows up, we're not buying them a new ditch witch.
Right.
You put down here, rental ditch witch 1 day. Sign. Thank you. Last, this department's giving back to the community, hopefully.
Okay, so we got the POs.
Yeah.
What's the unit price?
Well, I said 3, and I was thinking a little, a little more. You get that
So
insurance
it's
that goes with it.
$297 a day.
What is it?
I rounded off at 3, $297, but I rounded off at 3 because, and then you want to add something for, I didn't fill it in because that insurance policy for the day.
Okay,
Yeah, but you need a little more for insurance.
well, we don't know what the insurance is, so we can fill that in. Okay,
Thank you.
any other things that are pertinent before next Tuesday? Call me for a staff meeting.
Right.
I'm not calling the staff meeting, John, you are.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be there.
Don't forget these hydrants, John, that young man, they're very important.
All right, do I have a motion to,
So move. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it, all in favor?